What up? What up, everyone? Welcome to a special edition of Talking Comics with Julius Freeman. I'm not talking to anybody in particular tonight. What I'm doing is I'm going to do something a little different tonight. I'm going to show you guys how to letter a page. That's right. I decided to take the initiative and showcase what I can do as a letterer. If you're a comic book writer or if you are into comics, I highly recommend you learn these tools because these are important for you to get better as a comic book filmmaker, as a comic book creator. So I'm gonna play some tunes. There we go. It's always good to listen to some cool tunes when you're working. It relaxes you, puts you in the mood, and yeah, at least for me it does. For me, it puts me in the mood to work and get things started and not stress too much. Really, when you're working, it's always best to be in the state of mind where you're relaxed when you're working. At least for me. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna show you guys my process of lettering comics, and I'm gonna use one page. It's a JPEG. I'm gonna show you how to convert a JPEG into a TIFF file. This is necessary because if you try to letter a page as a JPEG, you won't. It won't come out as good. It'll come out pixelated when you try to. The size won't be appropriate for the page. So I'm gonna share my screen, and I have see Gen X, right? Excuse me. Let me put this up here. There we go. So see, it's a JPEG. So I can't really do anything with this, right? This is from a comic book project that didn't go through. It was supposed to start production last year, but then COVID hit and it didn't work out. So I'm going to right click it and I'm going to open with Photoshop. Now, I highly recommend you purchase Photoshop because it's the best thing you can have. I recommend you get the software, not the not what they offer now, which is an online cloud service. But hey, it's up to you. I personally would get the software. I would purchase the software programs itself, the CD, the disc itself, download it onto your computer. You have it forever. You don't have to pay a monthly fee for it. So here we go. Now we're open on Adobe Photoshop, and as you can see, it's ready to go, right? However, I'm not going to letter the book using Photoshop because I prefer Illustrator. But let me just show you guys what to do here. So image size, making sure that the image is a good size. So it's right now it's at 411 by 17. Perfect. So I'm going to change this to 300. Yeah, it's the number. It's the number that everyone uses. And now we have a nice big file. I'm going to hit Save As. See here at the bottom here, JPEG. You're going to save it as a TIFF file. I don't know the reason why it needs to be a TIFF file. All I know is that it needs to be a TIFF file, because then if you do it as a TIFF, then it'll be easier for you to letter the book. So Gen X page 3, I'm going to save it on my desktop, so that way it's there and I don't have to worry about looking for it. So hit save. Make sure the TIFF options that the image compression is none. And I really don't mess with this unless you know what you're doing. I really don't know, so I just leave it as none for image compression. It's better that way anyway. Hit OK, and there you have it. So now, give me a second here. I'm trying to find it here on the screen. Should have showed up here. There it is. So there it is right there. Now I'm going to right click it, and now I'm going to open it. I'm going to open with Illustrator. There it is. That's right, ID Crisis. JPEG files are lossy, TIFF files are not. You're absolutely right about that. So my technique is pretty simple. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 panels here, right? drawn by a very talented artist named Jethro Morales from the Philippines. This book would have been a fantastic sci-fi story, and I hope to one day make it and produce it. But as of now, it's still in the process of hold on, my little one's asking for more snacks. No, no, no. No, that's not yours. Here. 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 Give me this. Give me this. She grabbed the nail polish. JPEG files recompress every time they are open in some quality. Absolutely, ID crisis. Absolutely. Which is why it's always important that you always use a TIFF file when you're lettering, because then it's you have the space and the memory to not lose your lettering sizes and whatnot. So okay, I'm gonna minimize this and I'm gonna open the script for this project. And here's page 1. So right now we're looking at page 3. So page 3, 4 panels, right? So the way I write my scripts is I number it here, page 3, and I give the artist the amount of panels that I've written, so that way he or she has a good idea of what to expect. And as you can see, the artist did do 4 panels. Now he did it the way he chose to do it. That's the beauty of comic book collaboration, is that he got to choose how to, I guess, I shouldn't say properly, how to panel it. I guess I gave him the free reign to panel it the way he wanted to. So if you look at the script, is panel 1, the row of soldiers are about to enter another large room. In the room ahead, the back of the large ship can be seen in the far background, room for the bubbles. And as you can see, he did it the way he drew it this way. Panel 2, let's check out real quick what panel 2 says. 2-shot, medium panel. So he did a 2-shot, medium panel. Pax innocently smiles. Ooh, I misspelled innocently here. That's my bad. Pax innocently smiles, but Adam is somewhat taken aback of his comment. So as you can see, smiling, and Adam is a little bit peeved. So panel 3, they've entered the room, leave a lot of headspace for Bubbles. See, again, I give him a little bit of a leeway to panel it the way he wanted it, or direct it the way he wanted it, as long as he gave me headspace. And then panel 4, I put down large borderless panel. And that's exactly what he did here. A borderless panel. Beautiful panel, by the way. The 2 rows of soldiers enter the back of a large hangar-sized futuristic military jet. Gave me a beautiful jet right there. And I gave him some references. Now, as a writer, sometimes I can't quite grasp what I want the artist to draw, so I give him references so he can have an idea of what I'm looking for. So I'm going to open, hopefully these are still active, but I'm going to open the hyperlink. Maybe not. But yeah, and I put in red right here. Remember, I'm leaving it up to you to go crazy with the design of the jet. And then finally, another more description. Pax and Adam stand by the rail, their hands behind their back. And he didn't draw that, but this still works. And overall, this was a great panel. So here's what I do next. Thank you, ID Crisis, for the compliment. Yeah, I do my best, as you can see. So what I do here is I have the page right here, right? And here's the layers. So what I do is I click on this little circle here. Let's see if I can zoom in here so you guys can see what I can't really zoom in on the screen here. No, I can't. Okay. Well, it's this maybe I can zoom in like this. No, I can't. So it's this layers bar right here, and there's a little circle right there. So I click on that, right, and see the little box right there, the little red box. I'm gonna see that. No, that doesn't really help, but whatever. You get the idea. Here, I'm gonna just do this like that. There you go. And then I'm gonna go to this double circle thing here called transparency, and I'm gonna lower the opacity to about 40%, maybe 38%, just so it could be nice and white, right? So I put that away, open the layers again, and this time I'm gonna lock the layer. Then I'm gonna add a layer. So now I have a layer 2. Now I can start lettering. So I pick the little T here, click on that. I'm gonna use my my sci-fi. See if I can find it. There it is. My Elzrin type. My font, I guess you could say. So we're here on page 3, right? Packs. I thought so. So I'm gonna minimize this so that way. There we go. It's always best to have this shared in the same space. That way you don't have to go back and forth, and it's in the and I also do the same thing with this, so that way it won't go. I don't have to go back and forth. I could just simply. There we go. There we go. All right. So packs. I thought so, right? So here's packs right here. So I'm gonna put it right up here. But I thought so. This is just an example. Hey, what's up, Happy Jam Jam? In case you're just joining us, I'm showing everyone here how to letter a comic book page using Illustrator and Photoshop. If you missed the first step, you can always watch the replay. I'm gonna leave this video up. So it's good to have you. Hopefully you learned something valuable tonight. It's gonna be a short and sweet stream. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in here so that way you guys can see what I'm doing. So here we go. So I just zoomed in on. So what I do is I just kind of do this for now. I just put I thought so, and then Pax again says I would be an idiot not to want it. And then Adam says I'll admit it. You're right. I have a lot more important things. Whoops. Oh, what is that? Important things to worry about. Oh, you're right, ID Christ. I don't know what I'm thinking. You're, you're absolutely right, dude. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, there we go. So as you can see here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. The space in between each line is a little bit off. It's a little too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the, first I'm going to center it. Bam. There you go. And now we got nice centering for our lettering. Okay. There we go. So as you can see, the spacing is a little off. So I'm going to hit this A right here. And the size is 12 and the space is 14.4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower it to 11. I'm going to do 10. Let's do 10. 10's good. And I'm going to lower this to probably a 9. There we go. And now we have smaller. So what I do here is I pick all this stuff here which is the easy thing to do. And then I click on this eyedropper tool, and I click on this, and then boom, it all automatically changes to the size and the space of each of the dialogue. So let's see, Pax is right here. I thought so. I would be an idiot not to want it. So since this starts with Pax, I'm gonna make sure this is in the left-hand side, and Adam should be on the right. Now, see, here's the problem with this: is that a lot of the time you don't want the bubbles or the letters to block the beautiful artwork that the artist put into. So you have to figure out a way how to cheat it in a way. So, say for instance, I thought so. You'd be an idiot not to want it, right? So I don't want to block this cool image here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it probably down here. Make sure this goes down here. So see, I have all this space right here, and I have all this space down here. And so you want to make sure as a letterer to block the least amount of art possible, if that makes sense. Because you want the reader to see and view the beautiful artwork that the artist, put a lot of time and effort into. So that's one of the tricks, not tricks, but it's one of the many things that letterers have to watch out for, is that they don't. It's okay. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Hold on. All right, sorry about that, guys. My daughter has a phobia of hearing the front door open. So as I was saying, um, so let's see. I will start with Pax right here. I thought so, right? So I'm gonna put that right there, and then maybe in order to not block this shit back here, I'm gonna extend this out like so. So that way, see, voila, the artwork is not covered. But then again, it is a little high up. Now that I look at it. So maybe instead of up here, I could probably start it here. Since a little bit of, again, this is a tricky situation here. So, put it right there. So a little bit won't be. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe it's not the best. All right, I'm gonna stick with my first instinct here and just put it up here. I think this might be the best thing right here. There we go. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put the second Adams line right there. Maybe down here. There we go. All right, now the bubbles. I'm going to use this here, make the circle. Now the thing about a circle, yes, I'm using bubbles. ID Crisis, or maybe I should use a rectangle. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how this works out because I'm starting to look at the font. I'm thinking like, oh, maybe word balloon, like the balloons won't work for this kind of font. Maybe like a rectangle, like a curved rectangle will probably work better for this kind of font. Ferris, yeah, Ferris. Hey, dude, how's it going? Yeah, vacation was great. Went to the Grand Canyon. Got to first time going to the Grand Canyon. Never been, and I have to say that it was awesome. It was a sight to behold for sure. You know, I'm gonna go for the rounded rectangle. I think that might be the better choice. Let's see. Yeah, it's a lot better. So here's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna use this instead. And typically for the circle bubble, see how it's kind of oval. So what I do is I kind of adjust it a little bit because then it could come out a little not too oval, right? You don't want it to be too much like a no, actually this might work out better actually. Let's see. Ooh, that's a little nasty right there. I gotta move that up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that actually might work. That might work. Let's see. And the thing is, you want to copy and paste. So now you have layer 2, right? So you have all these bubbles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste and cover all of the dialogue, right? Doesn't matter the size, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to highlight everything. So that way I can see what I have here. And I'm going to grab all these paths, which are the bubbles. Highlight everything so you can see all the layers there. Hopefully you can. And I'm going to move them all down here in front of the words. And then boom, now we have the words in front of the bubbles. Go ahead, ID Crisis. Be my guest. You know what, ID Crisis? I'm gonna send you an invite, okay? And we can talk online here. Give me a second. Let me give you my my link, and if you have time or if you're available, you come on, hop on, and we could talk some more about this. And we could talk online. We could talk on our show. So you want to make sure to give them enough room to breathe. That's what I usually like doing when I letter my stuff. I like to let the bubbles breathe a little bit. You don't want it to be too tight because then it wouldn't look too good. You know, it would just kind of constrain it. So now since PAX is all the way down here, I have to make sure that the reader knows that he's talking. You know what I mean? All right. Here we go. Make sure that the point is right there. Remember, there's no rules really. The only rules is that try not to cover as much. Try not to cover or block art as possible. The more the better. I guess the less the better. That's what I'm trying to say. So, dude.
Hey, bro.
Shoot. Hold on. Let me lower the music here so that way we can hear each other.
I know I got the right camera on. I just got to make sure I got.
There.
Oh, I know what it is. I just
let me put my headphones on.
sound input.
All right, there you go.
Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Actually, you know what? Hold on, let me. There we go. Is there a rule of thought on how to
I
letter
don't know
and
what
bubble text
happened.
versus sound
Hold
effects on
on
the
a
page, and what determines coloring?
Sound output.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Common speakers. Line out.
Good question, Ferris.
All right.
Gosh, a sound effect would be instead of you wouldn't use a bubble for a sound effect. You would use an actual like. I'll do that right now just to show you an example. When I finish doing these lettering these letters. Can you hear me now? ID Christ, can you hear me now? No, I take it that's the no. There we go. That's good.
Now I can hear me.
I can still hear you. Can you hear me? ID Crisis. Okay, I'll just keep going until you are able to hear me. So yeah, so what I'm doing here, a lot of the lettering process is very time consuming. You need a lot of patience in order so you can figure out where to put the letters at. And as you can see, it took me a while to figure out where to put these two at. Here, up here. So I decided to come up here because, like I said, you don't want to cover um, the art.
I can't hear shit.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yes.
But I can't
yes.
hear you. That's so weird because I can hear every other sound coming from my computer.
That's weird. All right. Well, he'll come back. So yeah, like I said, you wanna. It takes a while for you to determine where to put the bubbles at, and so even though this may be really weird, the fact that I have it all the way up here and not down here, it's I feel like that's a good choice personally. All right, let's see. Let's try it again. What about now?
Perfect. Can you hear me?
Okay, I
Yeah,
can hear you.
I don't know what happened there. Must have been some kind of a glitch.
Must have been.
Okay, so I don't know if this will work for you, but I don't know if it'll be easier or harder or whatever. And it does take a little bit of like double ovaling. But copy the text that you have there, any one of those bubbles.
Okay.
I mean, like copy it to your clipboard, like you're going to paste it in.
What do you mean? I don't
Or
understand.
like select all of it. Click on all of that. Select the I wouldn't worry too much. No. Just just one. Yeah,
This.
that block
Okay.
of text. Copy it. Then make an oval, any kind of oval.
All right.
Lay that down. Okay.
Like that.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
move it away so you can see what you're doing.
All right.
Okay. And then, okay, now go to your text tool, the T. Now
Okay.
hold it down
All right.
and go to the one that says text area text. You see what it's called here. Area type.
Area type tool.
Area type tool, right.
All
Now
right.
click on the edge of that bubble.
All right.
Now hit paste.
Whoops.
Well,
That's the link of the.
yeah. But you get
That's the link of the. Hold on.
Right.
Hold up here. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Now, if you
cool.
want to see where that is,
Whoops.
if you want to see where that is, hit Command Y, and you'll be able to see everything in wireframe. Well, I have Command. You'd hit Control. You're on a PC.
Yeah, Control Y.
Y is so you can see all the circles and the boxes and everything.
All right, right on, dude. Wow, I've had this for so many years. I had like these are little tricks that I never learn unless someone tells me, like you just did
Seriously, I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning with version 8 of this. Like
now.
back in the 90s, trying to get it to do backflips and blends and things like
And if I want to get the image back, do I hit Control Y again?
Control Y. Yeah,
Oh wow, that's awesome.
that's well. If you're that's the tricky part. You have to be not typing. There you go. Yeah. So now
Wow.
the other thing there is now that which is why like you kind of make a copy of the bubble that you're going to be putting your words in, and that way it's the same. And then all you have to just expand it a little bit so you'll have the bubble, but you can just get it to fit in there. Now, if you want to, if you go into wireframe again, Control Y, and
Let's see. Since lettering has gone digital, do most artists usually complete background elements, even though they might get covered? Uh, well, that's the thing. You have to think, Ferris. You have to let the artist know in your script, especially if you're lettering yourself, like I do. You have to let the artist know, leave headspace for bubbles or leave space for bubbles, because then they'll know, okay, I'm not going to draw backgrounds for this panel because it's going to be covered by bubbles.
yeah, that's something
Now,
I'm trying to get used to.
yeah, and so you have to let them know ahead of time, because if you don't and they draw these beautiful backgrounds in your panels, a lot of the time you're gonna have to cover them with the bubbles, and that would suck because the artist could have saved a lot of time from not drawing that and just going, okay, I'm just gonna draw the characters, and like kind of like this panel here, the third panel. See how the third panel is just the legs? You cover the legs, it's not a big deal. Once I draw it right here too, blank. He could have drawn, these little machines right here. He could have drawn them right here, but what's the point if they're going to be covered by bubbles? So you always got to let them know ahead of time before you decide to do that.
Yeah. So
All
anyway,
right, I'm gonna.
I don't know if that trick will work, but if you go into Command Y, you can yank those Bezier curves all over the place, and
What
it
do you
will
mean? What do you mean? Like if I grab this,
on the one that we were just working on.
this one here.
Yeah, zoom in on that, and then use the direct select tool, which is A. If you just hit A, that's the hotkey for direct select tool. You can move those. You can move those nodes around in the circle of the oval itself. You should be able to like just so that you can get just one of them. Like you have everything selected. Try to select with the. See, you're still in the text tool.
Yeah, I don't know. I just did it.
Yeah,
It was doing it right now, but here, let me just do
yeah.
that.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. Yank that baby out there, son.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now you see that little plus sign when you make it too small.
Yeah, that means there's
There's,
more.
right,
Yeah,
right, right.
I know that one. Wow, this is really cool. Wow. Whoops.
So I don't know if that's a trick that you can use or not, but I don't know if you can if it's easy to switch back or actually let me. I mean, I've got my Illustrator pulled up here right now. Anyways, I could direct select tool. Mine automatically puts in Greeking. It automatically puts in that lorem ipsum stuff. So let's see if I can.
This is really cool. Wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, it should make stuff a little bit
I
easier.
can't. Yeah, it is going to make things a lot easier actually for me, because this is a lot. This will save me a lot of time.
Right.
Figuring out how to adjust it accordingly, and that's awesome. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah. So the other thing too, what I'm just noticing is and the one thing about it that I'm not super keen on is I'd have to do a little bit more research, but I don't know if you can. It might be in the text effects or the character options that you can leave what's the word I'm looking for, like a buffer, a padding. between the word balloon and the words. Otherwise, it will go. Oh, let me share. I think it's right up to the edge. Share my screen real quick, and I'll tell you. See how the text is right up to the edge there?
Yeah.
That's a sorry guys, that's a t-shirt design I was working on.
Okay.
But yeah, the snake eating its own tail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. But anyway, so yeah, you can click in here and make your make your text bigger. But I don't know if you can make a padding between the text and
And the
the
bubble and
yeah,
the
you
actual bubble.
might want it.
Yeah,
You can
I
be
think
like
that would have to be just the same like I usually do it, just adjust the bubble accordingly. But like I said, you point out that specific tool, that's definitely going to help a lot
yeah,
because then that will help me um,
explore.
determine,
There's a
yeah,
bunch of
not just explore, but determine where to put the dialogue at and the size of my bubbles.
Python
So
vertical type tool, which is probably something that they use in manga. If you're
I
going
think
to
so.
text goes like this or whatever. But I was I was just about to to jump in the shower and hit the sack before I saw you doing that. I'm like, I know he could use. So I hope you, well, I hope you can. I hope that helps.
It
Makes it
did. No, it helped a lot.
yeah,
It helped a lot because the whole point of the stream was to kind of showcase what I do when I do letter my comics
right.
and the step by step process of how I do it and
Yeah,
the programs that I use. And once again, guys, it's best to invest in the actual disk of these programs because they don't offer them anymore. Adobe doesn't offer any of these programs on disk anymore. You have to sign up to their online cloud-based system, and it's very limited. They don't let you do a lot of things like they did with disk. So if you could find them on eBay, Amazon, old people who, not old people, I shouldn't say old people,
yeah,
people who have them and they don't need them anymore, find them and buy them, snatch them up. Don't be afraid to spend the money because they're worth it. I have my copy still, and they're great. They never get old. I mean, yeah, of course they get a little outdated with time because of new softwares and whatnot, new motherboards and what have you that come out, but it still works just as good.
yeah. Especially if you're only using. I mean, if you're in a design house or if you're using like Premiere and Photoshop and Illustrator and all these other programs, then maybe subscription's not a bad idea because eventually they'll stop supporting the hard copies. But
Right.
if you're using like $20 worth of a $200 program, like you're using it just for that specific thing. I'm just lettering with this, and this is the thing that I'm comfortable with. Then yeah. And what do you have? You have a Illustrator
I have
Essentials.
Illustrator, yeah. So so when artists send me JPEGs of the
Yeah,
pages, which is fine, because I know TIFFs are large files and sometimes that could eat up your email
yeah,
space
yeah, or not send at all. Yeah,
or not send at all exactly. So I have them send it as JPEGs, 100 DPI, and I could go and I use Photoshop to change it back to 300 DPI and change the size to 11 by 17, and then
hmm
save it as a TIFF and not compress it, and
that
then
does,
it.
that doesn't get pixelated on you.
No, it doesn't. It
Really?
doesn't. It actually does a great. Like as you can see, like this is the quality is still great
Yeah,
as I zoom in. It's not as
especially
pixelated.
if they can put like zip it or stuff it or whatever, some kind of compression.
Yeah, nowadays you have the zip compressed files that you can send it to, and and the emails will be able to send those because
Yeah,
it's compressed, which is
yeah.
fine too. But yeah, I've come to discover that it doesn't lose its quality when you change it from a JPEG to a TIFF file.
Well, that's great. I mean, if that's if you get the system worked out, then awesome. But yeah, I don't want to take over the thing. I just wanted to show you that one trick, and it was kind of a hard thing to do in a chat. You know what I
No, it's
mean?
all good, man. No, it's all good. You don't have to take. It's not a matter of taking over. It's just it's only gonna be a short stream anyway because I was gonna letter the whole page and then
Yeah, it looks
just
good, though. I mean, that you found a really good artist there.
Yeah, man, he was really good, and like I said, we were gonna start in late. We started in late February of last year,
Yeah.
and of course, when March hit and the COVID thing like struck and everything got started getting shut down,
Hmm.
he only ended up giving me about 6 pages of the project, and I was sad because I was hoping by that May to at least have maybe 13 or 14 pages done, and then launch the Indiegogo for the first issue of this book. And
What,
then
what was it called? I didn't catch it back in the beginning.
it was called Project Genix.
Yeah, I know
So
you had a couple going. I don't remember you talking about that one before.
yeah, this one was I still want to produce this one because I really love the story. I'm really proud of the
I
story.
mean, the artwork, you can't. I mean, it would be a shame to just leave that art in the store just hanging out there doing nothing.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about contacting him again and maybe trying it out again, but the problem I had with this particular artist was he didn't take PayPal. He didn't take any of the other
Yeah,
payment processors, so it had to go through MoneyGram, and that was a pain in the ass, man.
yeah,
Sending
yeah,
to
yeah.
the
Well, that
MoneyGram.
reminds me, you have to send me an invoice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do.
I mean,
I
we're
keep forgetting about it.
we're talking and talking about money.
So yeah, that was only a downside working with him, but he gave me some beautiful pages, man, like absolutely stunning pages. And I was really excited about it because I was like, people are gonna dig this project, they're gonna back it, but freaking damn COVID ruined
Yeah,
everything.
I like the character, but the character, the armor in that they have like black legs and black arms. It reminds me of old Alien Legion.
Yeah, man, it was uh the premise of the story is that um the war that they're fighting against the insubordinates of their world is getting worse and worse. And this general is starting to question why it's getting worse. Like, why is this not ending any like this? They just keep attacking and attacking, and they don't understand why the number of insubordinates is growing by the
Yeah,
year. And he discovers there's a reason behind it, a reason that his government is hiding from the public. And I don't want to give it away because
I know, I know. It's like
it's
somebody's.
kind of a
It
yeah,
sounds
it's
like
kind of
playing with
it's
mad.
kind of like a major. It's like a major reveal. Where you're like, what the heck? Oh, well, that's what's going on. Holy crap! But
It's
yeah, he's starting to question it, and this
two
guy
kids trying to
Pax.
make, trying to make a hot woman. It's like they're doing some weird science stuff.
It's worse than that. It's
Okay,
way worse than that. And then,
really,
and like I said, yeah, exactly, exactly. That's why I'm really. I was like, oh, I was so heartbroken that this COVID thing happened because I really was excited about the story, and this character has an arc, a great arc where he's very loyal to the government. He's very loyal to his
oh yeah, yeah,
superiors.
right. And
So
he's
he's like
going to be a
he's afraid to
discovery.
question it,
Yeah,
but he just can't help but notice it. Like, why is my leader, my supreme leader, the one whom I'll die for, lying to us? Like he's hiding something, and I don't know. And he in this scene here, they're kind of conspiring. They're kind of going, "Hey, because Pax is number two,
yeah,
his Admiral Adam and General Pax or Lieutenant Pax, I think it was."
yeah,
And he kind of tells him, "Hey, do me a favor and kind of keep an eye out, see if you catch anything weird because something's going on here and I don't like it."
yeah. Stay calm.
And yeah, because in this first issue, they're about to go because they find out of a cell that's close to their city.
Hmm.
And when he arrives there, it's a cell with insubordinates, right, armed insubordinates. And when they arrive there, they surround the building where they're hiding at, and then the insubordinates announce to them there's women and children in the building. Please do not engage.
Right,
And so this guy is going, oh, that's interesting. The intel didn't say anything about women and children. It
right.
just said the intel was just armed insubordinates. And so Pax is like, maybe it's a trick. Maybe it's a trick. They're trying to get us to, not engage. And so he decides, okay, you know what? Just go for it, engage. Screw it. It might be a trick. So they
Yeah, like
attack the
field.
building, but then it turns out there were women and children in the building. and
Uh-huh.
that's what leads them to start thinking like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening here? What the hell?
The human
And
shield. Yeah.
like I said, it's a major plot like reveal when you in the second issue when you find out why there's a war going on.
You gotta stop talking about before you slip up.
Oh, I want to tell you, like I'm so excited to tell you, but I'm gonna tell you in the private chat.
Put your,
I'm gonna tell you in the private chat, so that way
put
you know.
your microphone on mute and then just start talking.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys. It's.
Yeah, I wrote your head. It's ruined.
Yeah, I'm gonna share with you ID Crisis, so that way you have an idea.
His tech is really cool looking, though. I mean, the armor, and I wonder how
Yeah, no,
he spent
the artist's name is Jethro, I think his name was.
His name is Jethro, and he lives in the Philippines. Not
Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy? Jethro Morales, I think that's what his name was.
man. That's like putting chocolate in your peanut butter. Those two things do go together. I mean, no, that's like putting funny Jethro. I'm gonna start reading it to myself. Turn your mic off.
Yeah.
He says it's because of that you were on a vacation for how long?
4 days.
4 days. Take what you can get, man.
Yeah, the Grand Canyon was such a man. It was my first time going, and I kicked myself in the ass for not going when I was when I was younger, when I
Right.
had the opportunities to do so in my
'Cause
20s.
when you're bigger, things that used to like I ran into a guy the other day at the flea market. He had a Shogun Warrior. You remember those things? Maybe I don't know. Maybe you don't. But this Japanese toy about this tall, and he's carrying it around about this tall. Anyway, he's carrying it around, and I was thinking to myself, I had that toy when I was a kid, and I remember it being so much bigger. If you had gone to the Grand Canyon when you were a kid, it would have been way more impressive
Oh
than
yeah,
because it would
yeah,
seem that much bigger because you were that much smaller.
exactly. Yeah, I've gone to Navajo. I spent a week in Navajo country,
Uh
and
huh.
that was an experience for sure, man. That was great. But I wish during that time I had gone to the Grand Canyon as well because it would have been awesome to go during that time. But yeah, that's the major plot point that I just said.
Right. I
Just mute your ear. I'm gonna mute you. Okay, I'm gonna mute you.
you know, no,
There, you're muted.
I won't say anything.
Okay.
Saying your secret is
What?
with me.
But what do you think?
I'm not sure what the two. I mean, without knowing more about it, I don't know what the two things have to do with each other. But I understand the main. Um, there's a word for this, and I'm never gonna be able to think of it. Um, not a catch-22. I mean, but there's basically just going to be that discovery that I can't say what it is.
Yeah. Let's just say it's really,
Yeah,
really, really
something.
bad.
Yeah, something I might have seen in another movie, but yeah, somebody's being deceived.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's like, well, I'm reading this, and I'm actually I'm able to make correlations between what we're going through with you know people like Fauci and
Right.
and COVID and you know what I mean. Like there's an allegory there that you might. When were you writing this?
I developed this about
Before COVID.
4 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Four
So
years ago.
in a way, in a way, like the allegory is it's like telling a like you have a crystal ball, not just a pen and paper.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And
that's pretty good.
yeah, I just it was just an idea I had, and I was like, wow, what would happen if that happened? And then as you know, as a writer, the wheels started turning, and then eventually, I developed it with another friend of mine. Um, his name was uh, Young. He was a Korean. I met him in LA, and you know, he and I really we clicked. You know, because we both had a passion for comics and also for stories, and so one day he emailed me and said, "Hey, let's develop something together." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." So he gave me some images,
Yeah,
and he said, "Well, what do you think about this?" And what ideas do you have for this? And I was like, "Oh, you know, let me think of something." So it took me about 2 or 3 weeks to really to kind of come up with the skeleton, I guess, of the story.
yeah. The
And
bones.
I
Yeah.
would throw it back to him, and he would say, "Okay, well, what about this?" And he would throw something back at me, and then we go back and forth, and then finally, we got it to a total of 4 issues. So this is going to be a 4 issue story, and that's it. No more after that. And it was supposed to be short and sweet. You know, the plan was to develop it, but the plan was for him to draw it, and we're going to both pitch in money for the letterer and the colorist,
Hmm.
and then we're going to submit it to Image Comics or whichever publisher was willing to publish it. But then he disappeared on me. I don't know what happened to him. He like stopped
I think.
answering my emails. He just never got back to me, and I was like, wow, I wonder what happened to him. I don't know, because I know last time I emailed him, he told me he was getting married
Well,
and he's
there's
going.
your answer.
So I think that's what happened. Yeah, I think that's what happened. So for a year, I sat on this story and I was like, this is such a good story, man. I don't want
Yeah,
to like leave it, you know, I don't want to leave it hanging. So I decided, you know, I'm just gonna take it myself. So that's what I did. I found another person to draw it, and he drew about 7 pages. This was 2 years ago. And once again, he disappeared on me. So I was like, damn, man. And then when I found this artist, I was all right. Finally, I'm gonna produce this sucker because this is a good story. People, I know people will dig this story because it has action. Not only is it what I just sent you in the private chat,
yeah.
it has action. There's action in it. There's a lot of action in it. It's like my homage to the '80s action movies. So it's a lot of explosions and war and fighting and
Action
not just
is
fight
further
scenes.
onto it. You know,
Sorry, I was trying to I'm trying to look at the actual chat and I'm hitting all the like the wrong buttons.
Oh, oh yeah.
Well, yeah, there's some guys are saying some cool stuff and I didn't want to leave them hanging. I mean, I'm listening to what you're saying, and it sounds like what you're
cool
talking
stuff, and I didn't want to
leave it go. What you're talking about is something that I'm not afraid of it. I'm hyper aware that it's something that could happen. Where
Yeah.
where you can you know the because the project has no deadline, there's potential for it to fade.
Yeah, I don't
And
know. We'll see. We'll see how I might email him again
yeah,
and ask if he's available. Hopefully he will be. I just hope he has PayPal because it would suck if I have to go through MoneyGram because MoneyGram was terrible, man. I hated working through MoneyGram. So
I've
we'll
never
see. Hopefully not too bad. Hopefully it's all good. But I do hope to produce this one day, and I hope it's soon because, like I said, the story is fantastic. But I'm gonna
get get in with like seriously get ahead with the like the rest of your lessons and stuff because like I'm on that shift this week where I have to be up at 6:30 and I need to
no, I'm gonna end it right here. Thank you. You taught me something. So to
that's what
review, guys,
that's what the community is supposed to do.
yeah, to
That's
review,
that's what I
get
was
yourself a Photoshop. get yourself an Illustrator. In order to make a bubble to fit a circle, it's the text, the tool, the type tool, and an area type tool to make it perfect in the circle, which was fantastic. I had no idea. I had this for about 4 or 5 years, and I never knew that until now. So thank you for that, ID Crisis. I appreciate that.
Yeah, if you're going to be playing around with this, just when you're up in that toolbar, and you're probably aware of this, but any one of those tools that has that little arrow down there next to it, hold it down, and the other tools will show up behind it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, try not to cover any of the art. Work around it. It's worth it when you do it. And tomorrow or maybe the weekend, I'll make another video that goes into much more detail as to how to letter this book. But stick around, A Crisis, because I'm actually gonna tell you what the story is about after the stream is over.
All right.
So with that said, guys, thank you for joining us. ID Crisis, anything else you want to say before we go?
Peace and out.
Peace and out. All right. Thank you, Ferris, for joining us. I hope you learned a little bit. And thank you, Happy Jam Jam, for joining us too. Hopefully you learned something tonight in the stream. So good night, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.
Ciao, ciao.